Welcome to the channel. Hit subscribe and dive into stories that'll stay with you long after the video ends. Let's begin. The scream cut through the early morning fog like a blade, a desperate cracking cry from somewhere beyond the cornfields, carried by the wind that swept across the valley. Elias Hale froze, one hand still on the handle of the water pump, breath held tight in his chest. For a moment he wondered if he imagined it, until the scream came again, sharper, terrified. He dropped the bucket and ran. The fog rolled low along the ground, thick and ghost-colored, swallowing sound and shape. Wet stalks slapped his arms as he sprinted through the rows, boots sinking in the soft dirt. He didn't know who he was running toward, only that someone needed help and no one else was close enough to reach them fast. Another cry, this one cut short. "Hold on," Elias shouted, though he couldn't see a thing. "I'm coming." His voice vanished into the fog. He burst out of the corn and skidded to a stop on the gravel road that bordered the fields. And there, half-collapsed beside a splintered fence, was a girl. She was curled against the wooden posts, breathing in ragged gasps. Mud streaked her white dress, one shoe missing and her hands trembling violently. Elias crouched next to her. Hey, can you hear me?" Her eyes blinked open, unfocused at first. But when they landed on him, she flinched, scrambling back. No, don't touch me. I'm not gonna hurt you." He kept his hands open, visible, his voice low. "Just tell me what happened." She opened her mouth, but no words came. Instead, she glanced behind her toward the fog-choked road. Her chest rose sharply. "They're coming," she whispered. Elias turned, following her stare, but saw nothing, only the slow churn of fog swirling over the gravel. "Who's coming?" he asked. She swallowed hard. "Please, get me out of here." Something in her tone, raw, terrified, cut deeper than the words themselves. Elias stood and held his hand out again. "All right, come on, I'll help you." This time she took it. He lifted her gently and she winced as she leaned on her left ankle, sprained, maybe fractured. She clung to his arm as he led her across the road and into the safety of the corn rows. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lena." "Okay, Lena, I'm Elias." They moved deeper into the fields, the fog hiding their tracks behind them. Every few seconds Lena looked over her shoulder. Every few seconds Elias listened for footsteps that never came. When they finally reached the barn at the center of the farm, he guided her inside and shut the door. Dust motes drifted in thin golden shafts from the roof slats. The smell of old hay thickened the air. Lena backed into a corner, arms wrapped around herself. "You shouldn't have helped me." "Why not?" "Because," she said, voice trembling, "they won't stop looking." Elias felt something cold slide down his spine. "Who?" She hesitated, then whispered a name he didn't recognize. But before he could ask more, a sharp knock hit the barn door. One, then two, slow, deliberate. Elias and Lena stared at each other, breath locked in their chests as the knocking came again, harder this time. Elias motioned for Lena to stay behind the stacks of hay bales. She nodded, sinking into the shadows as he stepped toward the door, heart hammering against his ribs. He didn't open it. He simply called out, "Who is it?" Silence. Then a man's voice, smooth, polite, too calm. "Morning, looking for someone who ran through your property. Young woman, might have come this way." Elias didn't reply. Something in the man's tone was wrong, coiled, patient, like a trap that didn't mind waiting. "Mind if we take a look?" The voice continued. "We." Elias murmured under his breath. Lena's eyes widened. She shook her head violently. Elias stood straighter. "My family doesn't allow strangers on our land," he said through the wood. A pause. Then the man chuckled softly. "Understandable, but this is urgent. She's in danger." Elias almost snorted. That was the problem. The danger wasn't chasing her. It was knocking on his barn door. The handle rattled. Elias braced his weight against it. "I said no." The man exhaled, slow and irritated. "We'll be back." Bootsteps crunched on gravel, fading with the mist. Elias waited another full minute before he let go of the handle. He turned to Lena. "All right," whispered. "You want to tell me what that was about?" She hugged her elbows tighter. "If they find me, I'm dead." "That's not an answer." "I know," she whispered, "but it's the only one I can give." Elias ran a hand through his hair, pacing. "Then I'm taking you to the house. You need help, water, food, maybe a doctor." "No doctor," she said immediately. "They have people everywhere." "Fine, but my mom needs to take a look at your ankle. You can't even stand on it." She hesitated, then nodded. Elias helped her out of the barn and across the yard. The farmhouse stood quiet, smoke curling from the chimney. His mother was inside preparing breakfast, humming a soft tune. When they entered, she turned and froze at the sight of Lena. Lord above, she whispered. What happened? She's hurt, Elias said. Found her on the road. His mother rushed over, guiding Lena to a chair. Sit, let me see. As she examined the swollen ankle, Lena winced but bit back any sound. Elias noticed the way her hands trembled, how she looked toward the windows like someone expecting shadows to take shape. His mother gave a concerned look. This is bad, she needs rest. And you, her eyes flicked to Elias, need to call Sheriff Talbot. No, Lena said sharply, please, you can't. Elias stepped in before his mother protested. Just give me some time, let me figure out what's going on. His mother frowned but didn't push. Instead, she stood and ladled soup into a bowl. Eat this, she told Lena. Whatever trouble you're in, you're safe here. Lena stared at the bowl, then at Elias. You don't understand, she murmured. Then help me, he said. Tell me. She looked down, her voice barely audible. I didn't choose any of this. I just found out yesterday that my father lied about everything. Elias crouched, eyes level with hers. About what? She met his gaze, pupils tight with fear. About who we really are, she whispered. And what we own. Before Elias could ask, a distant engine growled down the dirt road outside, slow, crawling, searching. Lena's spoon froze halfway to her lips. Elias slipped to the window, lifting the curtain just enough to see the truck creeping along the road. Dark blue, tinted windows, no farm logos, no reason to be here. They're back, he whispered. Lena's breath hitched. We have to hide. His mother stepped closer. Elias, what is this? He shook his head. I don't know yet. A rap sounded at the front door, firm, too confident to be a neighbor. His mother moved toward it, but Elias caught her arm gently. Let me. He opened the door just a crack. Two men in suits stood on the porch, far too polished for a rural morning. The man at the front wore a pleasant smile that didn't reach his eyes. Apologies for the intrusion, he said. We're looking for a girl who left our care. She's unwell. We just need to bring her back safely. Elias blocked the gap with his shoulder. No one like that here. Mind if we step inside? Yeah, Elias said. I do. The smile tugged tighter. Young man, I'm afraid. Leave, Elias said, flattened, unshaken. Behind him, the floorboard creaked, the soft sound of Lena shifting. The man's eyes flicked down, catching it, though he pretended otherwise. We'll be back, the man said, voice turning cold. Please encourage her to do the right thing. They walked off the porch, but not toward their truck. They circled the house as if mapping exits. Elias locked the door and turned to Lena. Okay, enough. Tell me who they are. She inhaled unsteadily. They're from the Alder Corporation. They used to work for my father. I think they still do. Alder, Elias's mother whispered. As in Alder Holdings, the people who practically bought half of Willow Bend 10 years ago. Lena nodded. Elias frowned. Why would a corporation chase you? Lena closed her eyes. Because I'm the heir. His breath caught. Heir to Alder. She nodded again, slower this time. My father died 3 months ago. Yesterday, his lawyer finally reached me and told me the truth. He left everything to me. Properties, businesses, land deeds, half this town. Elias stared at her as if seeing her for the first time. Why hide that? Because they don't want me controlling it, she said. They've been running everything in his absence. If I step in legally, they lose billions, and they know it. His mother pressed a hand to her mouth. Elias knelt beside Lena's chair. They want to force you into signing. Not just that, she whispered. They want to make me disappear before the transfer finalizes next week. Rain began pattering against the windows, slow at first, then faster. A storm building. Elias stood. All right, we're not letting them take you. His mother nodded firmly. We'll keep her safe, but we need the sheriff. No, Lena said. Sheriff Talbot, he was on their payroll. My father mentioned it in his lawyer's notes. Elias exhaled sharply. So no law, no help, just us. Thunder rolled through the valley, shaking the window panes. Outside, the men remained, circling like wolves, waiting for the storm to mask their move. Then the lights flickered, once, twice, and went out. The house sank into darkness, broken only by faint flashes of lightning that carved thin silver lines along the walls. Rain hammered the roof. Somewhere outside, a hinge creaked. Elias grabbed the flashlight from the drawer, clicked it on, and swept the beam across the room. We need to move, he said. If they cut the power, they're planning something. His mother gathered blankets and a small first aid kit. Where? The storm cellar, Elias said. Steel door, no windows. They'll have a hard time finding the entrance. Lena winced as she tried to stand. Elias supported her weight, guiding her toward the back of the house. Every footstep felt loud, too loud. Thunder cracked so hard it rattled the plates in the cupboards. They slipped out the back door, hurrying across the muddy yard. The storm cellar sat beside the tool shed, half buried, with a rusted handle and a reinforced frame. Elias pulled the heavy door open. Quick! His mother climbed down the wooden steps, then Lena, then Elias. He shut the door, bolting it from the inside. The cellar smelled of earth and old canning jars, damp and cold. Lena sank onto a crate, shivering. His mother lit a lantern, and for the first time the soft glow eased the fear etched on Lena's face. Elias knelt. "They won't find you here." She looked at him with hesitant relief. "Why are you helping me? You don't know me." "Because you needed someone," he said simply. "And because you didn't ask to be hunted." Another thunderclap, another flash. Then voices, muffled, distant but real, men shouting over the wind. Elias killed the lantern. The cellar plunged back into darkness. Bootsteps thudded above the ground. Gravel shifting, metal clanging, someone trying the barn door, someone else tapping on window glass. Lena covered her mouth with both hands. The men paced around the property for a long time, their movements slow and probing. Elias clenched his jaw as the footsteps passed dangerously close to the cellar door. Minutes dragged like hours. At last the sounds faded. Elias exhaled. Lena's voice trembled. "They won't stop, they'll come back with more." His mother touched her shoulder. "Then we need your father's lawyer, someone who can help us make this public." Lena nodded weakly. "His name is Milton Green. He's the only person my father trusted. He lives in the city." Elias stood. "Then at sunrise I'll take you to him." Lightning lit the cellar for an instant, just long enough to reveal Lena's fear softening into something else. "Gratitude, determination," she whispered. "Thank you." Elias gave a faint smile. "We'll get you through this." Hours later the storm eased. Dawn crept into the sky, pale and exhausted. Elias opened the cellar door and scanned the empty yard. The blue truck was gone, but tire tracks cut deep into the mud, circling the house again and again like a warning. "Come on," he said. "If we go now, we might get ahead of them." They packed quickly and slipped into Elias's old pickup. The engine sputtered, then roared alive. But as they reached the end of the long farm driveway, movement flashed in the tree line, a figure stepping out, raising an arm. Elias slammed the brakes. The suited man from before stood in the middle of the road, rain dripping from his shoulders, smiling like he'd been expecting them. Elias shifted into reverse, ready to back up, but another vehicle rolled silently behind them, blocking any retreat. His mother gripped the dashboard. Lena curled closer to him, breath quick and short. The suited man approached the driver's window, hands in his coat pockets as if this were a polite visit. Elias cracked the window an inch. "Move." The man leaned slightly. "You're making this difficult. You're trespassing." "We're doing what must be done," the man said. "Miss Alder has a responsibility to her father's estate. We need to escort her back." "No," Lena said from the passenger seat, voice shaking but clear. "I'm not going anywhere with you." The man's eyes shifted to her. "Your father trusted us." "My father warned me about you," she said, "and he left proof." A shadow flickered across the man's expression, tight, irritated. "I'm afraid you've misunderstood." Elias rolled the window up sharply. The man stepped back. "Hold on," Elias said. "Seat belts, both of you." Lena clicked hers with trembling fingers. His mother did the same. Elias gripped the wheel, glanced in the rearview mirror, and then floored the accelerator. The truck lunged forward. The suited man leapt aside as the vehicle roared past him, splashing mud. Across his coat, the tires fishtailed, caught traction, and the truck tore down the road. "Which way?" Elias shouted. "East," Lena said, "toward the city. Hold tight." They raced through the valley, mist rising from the wet asphalt. Behind them, headlights flicked to life, two cars giving chase. Elias pushed the old pickup harder than he ever had, the engine growling under the strain. Wind lashed through the cracked window. The morning sun broke through clouds in fierce golden beams. Lena pointed ahead. "Turn right, there's an old service road, they won't know it." Elias swerved onto the narrow gravel path. Trees whipped past. Branches scraped the truck's sides like fingernails. The pursuing cars missed the turn. Their engines faded into the distance. Silence settled, thick, breathless, trembling. After several miles, Lena whispered, "Slow down. They won't find this road." Elias eased the truck to a crawl. His mother exhaled shakily. Lord above, what a morning. Lena's shoulders sagged with exhaustion. We need to reach Mr. Green. He has documents, evidence. My father recorded everything, every bribe, every threat, every illegal deal they made behind his back. Elias nodded. Then we'll get you there. They drove until the city skyline rose in the distance. The streets bustled, unaware of the danger that had chased them across county lines. Mr. Green's office sat on the 12th floor of an old brick building. Elias parked in the alley and helped Lena inside. The lawyer was waiting, an elderly man with sharp eyes and a weary smile. "Lena," he breathed, "thank God you made it." She limped into his arms. "They found me." "I know," he said, "but you're safe now, and your father's will, it's ironclad. Once you sign the transfer documents, the corporation loses any power to control you." He opened a locked drawer and handed her a stack of papers and a flash drive. "These," he said, "will expose everything." Elias felt the tension in her body unravel just a little. She looked at him with damp eyes. "I couldn't have gotten here without you." He shook his head. "You would have found a way." "No," she said softly. "You saved my life." Outside, sirens wailed in the distance, not for them but for the men who had been arrested minutes earlier. Mr. Green had reported them the moment Lena stepped through the door. Relief finally washed over her. The danger was over, the truth was safe, and the town she now owned would soon be protected again. Lena reached for Elias's hand. "Stay, please, I want you with me when I sign everything." He squeezed her fingers gently. "I'm not going anywhere." She smiled, small, tired, but real. And as the morning light poured through the tall office windows, she whispered, "Thank you for running toward the screen." Thanks for watching. Subscribe and check out the channel for more real-life stories told just like this one.